Okay, the goal here is today on this month's session is to talk about burnout from the leadership perspective. And I always like to start with aligning the definition because we usually use burnout to be when we are talking about how stressed we are with life and everything that's going on, and not specifically with work. But since 2019, the World Health Organization decided to make this a specific syndrome, a specific work-related syndrome. So it's a workplace stress. It's in an occupational context and should not be applied to describe experiences in other areas of life. And why is this important that we set this concept straight? Because if you think that the reason the person is feeling what they're feeling, this disengagement, this lack of will to contribute, the reduction in their productivity, if you feel all this, if the signs are there, then it's a work related thing, and you as a leader have a responsibility to address the situation. So if you want to go deeper into the signs, I think you should go to the webinar. I gave a burnout webinars on my YouTube channel. You can check that and can go a little further on this. But our goal today is work on something real that you can actually use or discuss in deeper the questions that you may have regarding how you as leaders can prevent burnout. So in order to do that, we are going to the six core roots of burnout according to go to Dr. Christina Maslach. It's from her book. Okay, so there are six core roots of burnout, and it's kind of all work related. So one of the things that I wanted to do today is to try to spot one thing that you think you could work on easily. Maybe it's not the most important one, but when we decide the first thing we're going to tackle, and even if we know that that first thing is not going to address the whole situation, taking the first step is essential. So today is like choosing a first step among these core routes and strategies I'm going to show you. So the first one is this unsustainable workload, this idea that you have to do more with less demand all the time. Like when you downsize because of a circumstance, because you lost a client, and then this client comes back or is replaced by another client, and then you don't grow the team back because it works. That team was downsized, it works, so let's keep it like that. But the energy levels that team started with are now depleted. And they didn't have time to replenish that their energy to give what they have been given. So that's not sustainable. A perceived lack of control. It's when the person sees that they have little or no say in what happens to them, like no flexibility in work arrangements, vacation, or project choices, for instance, a home officer or not days, for instance. So that's something that really can be a root cause for burnout. The third element is insufficient reward for effort. That idea that you can only reward the results. So that keeps people from actually giving you ideas of taking risks and demotivate people from being interested in what they do. Also, a mismatched values and skills with roles and responsibilities. This lack of meaning is very common when you decide to promote, for instance, a senior professional, a senior analyst to a leadership position, and the person only takes that because they want the recognition, but they were not fit to the role. And that's usually also a cause for burnout. The person going to struggle too much to be in that role that they are not actually fit to fill. The fifth element is lack of fairness. So when the person doesn't feel that it's fair, the workload of is fair of work. But the thing here is maybe it is, but sometimes what I see in companies is a bad communication of this. So it's companies assuming that the employees know they're being fair and not stating that really clear. Maybe that's just enough for tackling this element here, this root cause. The last one is the lack of supportive community. This is actually why I do this, why I do and I host these group coachings. I want you as leaders that who feel alone and usually are not very comfortable in showing vulnerability, that you have this space and this opportunity here to have the supportive community. So how can we address these issues? What are the strategies that we can use? I took most of these strategies from the Deloitte Healthy Savvy CEO. I really advise you to download this paper. It's a very small article. It won't take long, and it talks about the health savvy CEO, because this is the first step if you want to prevent burnout is actually understand what it is, and understand what health issues and mental health issues are, and define your ambition. What do you want to be regarding to burnout prevention? What is the leader that you want to be? What's the kind of well-being and psychological safety, for instance, that you want to provide to your team to avoid burnout? The second step is actually going outside of yourself, looking, you start looking inwards and then you look outwards to listen to employees. Don't assume anything. Assuming is a very common trait in IT professionals, and that causes a lot of miscommunication. So just assess the causes and take responsibility for the things that you can actually do. Maybe you will have someone that's depressed and not burnout, but then you know that you are addressing the root causes of burnout and you're going to help that person anyway, even if you cannot help him or her directly with their depression. The step three is examine and adjust your system. So once you understand where you want to get, what's your ambition as a leader to provide a healthy environment, and you know what the causes are, then you have to examine how this is reflecting on the workload assignments, on the performance views, on the job description. So once I had a client who asked me, complained to me that the teams, the units, they were competing too much. The directors of each country, regional unit, they were competing too much, and he wanted them to collaborate. And the first thing I asked him was, how is that collaboration reflected on their performance review? Are they going to get bonuses for working together? Are there KPIs for collaborative work? Because if there isn't, people will not do that. Because you're not rewarding the right behavior. And once you've made this analysis, you can actually start to have a psychological safe culture, being transparent and giving people actually freedom to speak, people where they will feel comfortable, even to challenge the status quo, because then you can actually innovate. Only when you have enough psychological safety to challenge the status quo and to provide actually breaking ideas and disruptive ideas. I will make a video about psychological safety in the future. You can please let me remember me that I promised that. And the thing is, this all seems too overwhelming. This seems too much, because it is. Then you should start with a small team and with small things. So what I propose here today is that you work on thinking about strategies that you can use now. What would be the first thing you would do that you could implement like immediately, that you could do immediately to prevent burnout? Oh, what? Wait a minute, I'm going to stop here recording.